Ben,
Oh, it's funny.
Merab Dvalishvili beat Sean O'Malley to become the bantamweight champion of the world.
Yeah,
It wasn't that competitive a fight.
not
Merab then
really.
goes on to beat essentially the boogeyman in Umar Nurmagomedov in Los Angeles.
Yep.
So then you start to wonder who's next.
Yes.
Come to find out, it's going to be Sean O'Malley in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center in May.
Yes.
Does that surprise you that O'Malley got a title fight or a rematch
Well,
without having
in
to
it,
fight?
yeah, initially it did surprise me a little bit, but then I went and I looked at the rankings, and I don't know who else they'd put in there. Merab has beaten Sean. He's beaten Peter. He's beaten Umar. That's number one, two, and three.
Yep.
Sandhagen has a very recent loss, as does Figueiredo, and I believe those two are fighting each other. That's the top five. Like
No, Figueiredo's fighting somebody in Iowa. The fact that they're going to do a fight card in
I thought
Iowa too is a bit surprising, isn't it?
that is wild. Des Moines, Iowa, right?
Yeah, Des Moines,
Really? I
Iowa.
thought Corey Sandhagen was fighting. Okay, let
No,
me
no,
look.
no. Davison Figueiredo is fighting somebody else in Iowa. It's that Iowa fight card.
I'm
Who's he
gonna
fighting,
pull up
man?
his profile.
He's fighting.
Davison Figueiredo. No, Corey Sandhagen on May
He's fighting
3rd.
Sanhagen in Iowa.
That's
Okay,
what I said.
I didn't know. I didn't know who the
Oh,
main event was. I did know Davison
yeah.
was fighting.
So those two are fighting each other. That's 4 and 5. But both of them have a recent loss. So Figueredo lost to Peter Yan, and Sandhagen lost to who do you lose to? Oh, Umar, right?
Lost to Umar. Yep, in Abu
So
Dhabi.
yeah, so it's really the only thing that makes a whole lot of sense. Um, Peter Yan is in there also, but he had a more recent loss to Merab. Sorry,
Well, that
not
was
more
years
recent
ago.
than Sean. More
Yeah.
recent than the other ones. Um, yeah, so like
Ben, tell me who's 7 through 10. Tell me
seven
seven
through
through
ten.
10.
All right, seven through
Because
ten.
here's the deal.
We got Song Yadong, Marlon Vera,
Okay.
Rob Font,
And
Henry,
Song Yadong
and
just beat Henry Cejudo, right?
yes,
And you have Marlon Vera. He not Cheeto. Nope. Who's after that?
Rob Font.
Okay, so Song Yadong could be the only one. Now, granted, this is why. Now, this is why, right? Do you remember Alex Pereira fought Khalil Roundtree? He was number 7. Do you remember
Yes.
when Pantoja fought Steve Urseg? He was number 10.
That was
Right?
yeah, that was wild. That I don't know why. I think they just needed an opponent, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know that we're confined to the rankings.
Yeah.
Look,
Jan just beat Yadong. So Jan's actually won a couple in a row against some relatively highly ranked opponents. So maybe he's someone you could potentially throw back in
but
there.
Sean beat him. They all just beat each other.
Yes.
That's the craziest thing about 120, 35 pounds is
Yes.
they've all beaten each other except Marab.
Yes.
So when you look at this fight, right? The last fight was at the Sphere in September.
Yep.
Marab wins the fight, decision, takedown, takedown, takedown. The only reason it's surprising to me is for this reason. I'm not surprised that Sean O'Malley gets a title fight because I know that for all the guys in this division, he's the one that's most recognizable. He's the one that carries the most name
Yes.
recognition. He's the one that people know about more than anyone. But Aljamain said it's not as impactful as they would make you believe as a champion in terms of him and pay-per-view
Yeah.
buys and everything. But he's the most recognizable. And boy, Newark, New Jersey has had some title fights that have not been great. They've had some fights go there in May where it's almost like that May pay per view has been like one where it's like a reset because the April one's so good. All right. Like, because you Miami's
Ouch.
always awesome in April. Then May is
Yeah.
kind of like a reset. Then June and July is usually pretty good. The only
Yeah.
thing that's worrisome for me, if it's Sean O'Malley, what has he done? He supposedly was injured, right?
Didn't they say he was gonna be injured and he was gonna be out for like a whole year or
Okay,
something?
exactly, Ben. That's my point. He said he was hurt. Remember, it was the rotator cuff or something that was messed up. That he was so hurt that was part of the reason he lost. And he was going to be away for a while trying to get healthy. Not only that, he lost because he couldn't stop takedowns. What do you think he has done in the 9 months since the fight to improve that, especially if he was hurt in the beginning of the recovery where he
Yes.
couldn't
Or
wrestle?
couldn't train.
If you have a bad shoulder, you are not wrestling at the level that you need to wrestle in
You're
order
not
to
wrestling.
defend
You're
Marab.
not wrestling at all if you, if you got a really bad
Yes,
shoulder.
yes.
Yeah.
But even that, Ben, even if
Yeah.
it's not a torn rotator cuff and it's
Yeah.
just a bad shoulder, you're not wrestling at the level you
No.
need to defend Marab.
Yeah. And honestly, for Sean, If you look at his skill set and who he is, I kind of think this is a bad move. If he gets beat up by Merab again, then he loses a whole bunch of attraction because it's like, well, you already lost to the champ twice. So until the champ goes away, they're not going to give you a third shot against him. He could have fought some maybe lower ranked guys and just looked, against guys who can't take him down. He kind of looks like a real freaking superstar, right? He's
Does.
really exciting, very diverse striking attack. So he could look really good, built the fight back up into something bigger. But now I feel like everyone is feeling like you're feeling. Hey, we just saw this. It wasn't competitive. Why do we need to see this again?
Yeah, you see, I don't mind. I don't mind seeing it again. My thing was, I thought, and granted, I'm not his coach. I'm not everybody. I thought that in order for him to really truly, Ben, be able to fight this guy the way that he needs to, we may be out of pocket here. We may not know what he's doing, but
Yes.
my thought was, Sean O'Malley should maybe go to Ben Askren's Wrestling Academy, get some wrestling shoes, and literally just wrestle.
I
Thought,
invited him
hey,
a couple of years ago. Remember that? He wouldn't
Ben,
come.
in Phoenix, go to Valiant. It's there,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Literally put on some wrestling shoes and understand all the spots in between in wrestling, because that's where fighters struggle, man. It's
Yes.
not the initial takedown. You and I both know from fighting in the octagon and
Yeah.
wrestling at the international level, the problem with scoring at international level is at step one, those guys can defend. Step two,
Yeah.
they can defend. Step three, they can defend. In every little inch in the middle, they can defend.
Yeah.
In fighting, that's not the case, right? You can
Correct.
actually
Yep.
go run a pipe, step across, bang him with the head. You could do so many different
Yes.
things, and you only develop that in a wrestling room. I thought for Sean to truly, and I'm not saying he's going to lose, he can still knock him out, but I thought for him to make sure that that doesn't happen again, he would need to get into a full wrestling environment to try to work on those skills in between the
Yeah.
takedown attempts.
And that's something that a lot of fighters that I know, it's hard to humble yourself that much and then go in there and get
Get
your
beat by
ass kicked for
kids.
a while. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, like those kids at Valiant would probably beat Sean. I'm certain they would beat Sean. The college kids would certainly beat him. It's hard to humble yourself and do that. And then, I mean, the thing I think about is then you're gonna have to do it. It's not like you can do for a week, and
No,
it's like you
you
gotta
got to
do
do it for
for
like a year.
yeah. I was gonna say many months, but yeah, a year would probably be sufficient. So
Ideal.
ideal, yeah. So I wish Sean would have taken some more time and improved his wrestling, but he still does. He has dynamic striking. He has
Yep.
knockout capabilities. Now, Marab has been relatively unstoppable looking in his last handful of fights. The other one I was just kind of playing around while you were talking is Pantoja hasn't actually lost since 2020. He's been on, I think it's like 8 or 9 fight win streak.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting one, maybe to see him bump up against Marab.
I think he's too
Although, as
small.
dominant as Marab is, maybe you don't really give him too much of a chance, but maybe that can make it exciting. I don't
He's
know.
too small. He's just too small for Merab. But
He's that
yes,
small?
he's small. Yeah, you could tell. Merab's big, dude. He's like thick. Like he's got a
Yeah.
big old chain. He looks like a wrestler.
You know who's been coming out to my gym?
Who?
He's number 15. But this guy, Montel Jackson,
I know Montel.
yeah, he's been,
Dude, I
what?
met Montel at that camp we did way back in the day.
Oh, yeah, that was like 2019 or something?
Dude,
No,
when I was in
18.
Wisconsin for something, you had me do a clinic and you had
Yeah.
all those kids, and Montel was in there as like a little boy that had an idea that he wanted to fight.
He was still a high school kid at that time?
I don't know. I don't know how old he
Wow,
was, but he was young.
interesting.
Like he was young.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's still, I wonder how old he is.
Yeah, I remember him.
Doesn't say his birthday on here, but he's been coming out. He is a gigantic featherweight. Like, it's really funny. And I know, obviously, you know this from wrestling. Like, you see the high school kids, and they're like, oh my gosh, making 132 is so hard. And, they
They're
think
cutting
they're
like
cutting a lot of weight.
4 pounds.
Yeah, but then you see them standing next to him, and you're like, that guy makes 135. You're complaining about 132, but he's like a giant compared
Yeah.
to you. Like, he makes you look like a runt. Like,
But you don't
stop
even
your
have your kids
whining.
cut weight though, do you? You don't have kids cut much
Not
weight. Do
not
you?
much. So when they have to start cutting a little bit, it's like, oh, I don't know if I can make that or whatever. And then it's like, but since he's been out there, I'm like, hey guys, that guy's 135.
Yeah,
Like,
and then you could show them that, and they're like,
yes,
okay, maybe I'm not cutting
yeah.
as I think.
I
Yeah,
mean, he
I
is
have some guys
really
in. I had Johnny
strong.
Walker in. I had Johnny Walker into my gym for a while. He's crazy, man. he comes in and wrestles, but he's humbling himself. Dude hasn't
Yes.
gotten a takedown in 4 months. He's been there 4 months. He hasn't gotten one takedown, but
Oh man.
he's okay with it, right? He's like, I know that I'm improving. You know
Yeah.
it's nuts too because they feel the way that we train, it's overtraining. I'm like, bro, I tell you, if you can get through this, I promise you, you're gonna be
Yeah.
better for it.